Hope you're doing well. I'm just gonna drive my car today while I talk about some of the changes that it's gone through. If you can't tell, I have a 2022 Subaru WRX. It's a base model. Currently, I'm at almost 2 years of ownership and 22,000 miles. I've only done regular maintenance and I've really had no issues as far as mechanical things go. I don't burn any oil, my transmission's intact, and if those two things are good, I can't complain. Though, I do have some gripes. And it's only two things, so let's talk about it. Number one, in 2 years of ownership, the seats are starting to deteriorate a bit. Really just the driver's seat. I'm a bigger guy, about 250 pounds, so I expected this. The base model seats are uncomfortable for people like me, and they're not made with the highest quality of cloth. At this point, it is what it is. I could either lose weight or change the seat. I'm probably gonna do both. I am working on at least one of those things. But it is what it is, and ultimately, I'm gonna have to change the seat or reskin it, and I have come to peace with that. But that is a gripe. You pay nearly $30,000 for a car like this. That should not be an issue. Number two, the studs on the turbo are very weak. Apparently, this is a common thing with Subarus, but that's okay because I have new ones all around, at least with my turbo. When we did my header install, I snapped and stripped all 3 of the turbo studs, and normally I'm pretty resourceful. I would have found a way to fix it in my garage, but I didn't have what we needed to make this work because I stripped and snapped them. No tool that I had was gonna work. I had to limp the car to a shop and have them replace my studs. A price that I had to pay due to my lack of preparation. That was a lesson learned. If you're working on something that touches the J-pipe or the turbo in any way, just get a shop to do it and let them deal with the headache. Alright, so let's talk about modifications with the car. As I mentioned in my first POV video, I have a lot of cosmetics and a few performance things done to this car. Let's look at the cosmetics. So, I'm color matched all around. That means fender flares, valances, rear bumper, duckbill, wing, all of it painted. I did everything myself in my garage except for my rear bumper. I got rear-ended last summer, and in the repair process, I had the shop paint match the rear bumper. Looks great, and you can see it in the photos. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it certainly is mine. I couldn't enjoy the car looking at it without the color match. There was just too much black cladding everywhere. 2 years in with the color match that I did myself, it's holding up quite well. So, I have an STI wing, which is a controversial topic for WRX owners, and it always has been. But the way that I look at it, there are no STIs in this generation of the VB, so it's fair game. I also have a duckbill. A lot of people do either or. I wanted both, and honestly, I think it's a look that's unique to just my car because I haven't seen other people do it. I also have white line performance lowering springs. This wasn't meant to give the car better handling in any way. It is purely cosmetic, drops the car maybe 1.5 inches at most. This isn't the final destination for my suspension, and I'll talk about that later. I also have roof racks, which barely matter, but they're from a VA WRX, and I made them to fit on my car because when I got the roof racks, we didn't have anything ready for my car that I could put on. I also wrapped the roof black, and that happened within like the second month of ownership. I was looking to make some contrast happen. While the list isn't the longest, it does a lot to the look of the car. I enjoy looking at it every morning when I walk up to it or I walk away. And it is extremely different from what Subaru released to the public. What good is a car like this if you don't make it your own? It's truly the question you need to ask if you're a WRX owner. Okay, let's talk about performance. So as far as performance goes, 4 things have been done to the car. Number 1, I have a BMS intake. Okay, Burger Motorsports. I didn't opt for the ETS or the Cobb or anything like that. I went and got the BMS intake along with the JB4. I got that at the exact same time. Obviously, I was running that setup for a while, and then I moved on, but the intake remained. I also have the JDMuscle UEL header. This one has been a very controversial topic amongst all Subaru kinds for years. I'm not here to discuss the efficiency of these headers. They will not be the sole cause of a car blowing up, and I'm not interested in discussing that any further. I'm not after a car that's the fastest on the road. I'm just looking for an experience that will satisfy my driving preferences. A lot of the time, the sound is a big part of your experience in a vehicle. At least in my case. I'm an audiophile, I'm a musician, I'm a teacher, I do music. For me to fully enjoy a Subaru, it needs to sound like a classic USDM Subaru with unequal length headers. This scratches that itch, and I'm very happy with the mod, even though it caused me headaches because I snapped all 3 studs and had to get them replaced. Okay, moving a little bit further down, I have a non-resonated mid-pipe. I kept the cat intact, but I got rid of the resonator and I used OEM Subaru piping, and we got the welds done. It looks pretty decent. It does the job. It doesn't make the car too much louder, but it gives it that edge that I wanted it to have in the sound. Okay, and then to tie it all together, I have a Drunkman E-Tune. It's not an off-the-shelf tune, it's an E-Tune, which means he calibrated it specifically to my car. It was probably based off of an OTS at first, but after sending some logs back and forth and a few maps, this is fully custom to my car and my car alone, which makes it work. Whenever you do modifications that happen before the catalytic converter and they mess with your airflow ratio in any way, your air, fuel, everything, you need to get a tune that corresponds with that. Otherwise, you will be the sole reason that the Subaru community has perpetuated an unreliable status. With these mods, running on a decent 93 octane that I have near me in Texas, I'm around 350 horsepower, 330 to 350. I can't speak to the torque. It wasn't a focus when Anthony was doing tunes on my car. I don't have any plans on doing the STI trans, so I needed it to be conservative. Considering that though, stock these cars made 271 horsepower, so having near 350 horsepower is a pretty big jump that I appreciate every day, or every time that I drive the car. This setup has given me the most fun driving experience I have ever had in a car. It isn't much, but considering that at its core, it's an all-wheel drive rally car, it's great. I can't complain when it comes to that. Let's talk about this. I don't have any good advice, nor do I have any real tangible tips on how to keep this car alive, but I will impart this. Keep up with the maintenance schedule often. Don't neglect it. Let the car warm up before you drive it, and if you're putting parts on the car that alter your air-fuel ratio, or they exist before the catalytic converter, get a tune to correspond with those parts. Your wallet, your mind, your car, your FA24 engine will thank you for this. As far as my future plans for this car, I'll probably just do some basic life support mods like an air oil separator, but in the way of performance, I'm done. There's nothing else I need to do. Unless I learn down the line that there are a few more things, like maybe someone creates a cylinder 4 cooling mod, or anything like that existed on the EJs, I'm done. When we talk about the cosmetics and maybe like braking and stuff like that, I plan to get wheels and coilovers this summer. My tires at 22,000 miles are shot, and I'm not going to replace tires on my base 17-inch wheels. It would be cheaper for me to just go find a set of wheels with tires and then eventually get new ones later down the line. Then lastly, we're going to look at a Brembo brake kit, and it's looking like the CTS-V brake kit. I'm not in a rush though. This is just the stuff to like pin everything together and make it the ultimate Subaru experience for me. Well, anyways, that's all I got. Enjoy the rest of the drive, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.